And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. So the title of today's video is The International Roman, the World's Biggest Problem. The International Roman, the World's Biggest Problem. Dude, what the hell is wrong with what are we doing? Why are we sitting here talking about the Pope? Oh, we got a new Pope. Who got a new Pope? And he's an American. Dude, listen. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. You want to know why your country is a gigantic toilet? Do you want to know why Europe and America are toilets? Because of Romanism. Because of Rome. I don't even want to say Catholicism because the Eastern religions, like the Eastern Orthodox, those are considered Catholic. They're just not Roman Catholic. It's literally just the Rome. It's Rome. There's a weird cult in Rome, and that's the problem. It's Romanism. And so I think I owe the Jews an apology. Yeah, I know it's in the middle of the afternoon. I'm drinking beer. It's because I've been working a lot and I'm a little frazzled. But so here's the thing. Okay, let me give an example. Like, okay, so people, I've been part of circles on the internet for like a really long time, right-wing circles, and I've listened to what they've said, right? And here's exactly what happened. Is that people would notice that there's this Jewish mafia, right? So first you notice there's a Jewish mafia, and you're like, oh my God, there's a Jewish mafia. There's all these Jews doing organized crime. And because you notice that, and that they're in high positions in the government and they have a lot of influence in finance and stuff. So then you start going, whoa, it's a Jewish conspiracy. And that's all that stuff is true. There really are Jews in finance and organized crime and all. That's all real. It's all real. But the thing that everybody misses is that they're backed by the Romans, and that they've been backed by the Romans since 140 BC to kill the Greeks. So now, look, you've got a bunch of people in the media. You've got E. Michael Jones. You've got people in the far-right neo-Nazi circles, like, if you want to call it that. They're just Catholics. Lucas Gage. Stu, I don't know, is Stu Peters Catholic? I actually, I don't know if he's Catholic, but he might be. You've got Nick Fuentes, Catholic. You got Candace Owens, right? She's Catholic too. Notice how she's like woken up to the Jews. Who else made this mistake? David Duke. Remember David Duke? David Duke was like, he figured out that there was a Jewish conspiracy. He's KKK, right? He figured out there was a Jewish conspiracy, and then he would go to these big meetings, and he would meet with who's that one congressman that got shot in the park by the crazed lunatic Democrat, Congressman something or another, right? He's like a Catholic, right? And so let me give you this example. So David Duke, who's KKK, meets with this congressman who's a Catholic, thinking that they have something in common because they're both for European traditions, and right. But this is a scam. It's a complete scam. Let me give you an example. So what I found that the Catholic Church likes to do is they like to because you become aware that there's like Jewish organized crime. So they're like, yeah, man, and you should become Roman Catholic. See, that's what Nick Fuentes does. That's what E. Michael Jones does. That's what Candace Owens is doing. That's what all these, there's a lot of people in the media who are Catholic. Steve Bannon's Catholic. That go, oh yeah, there's all these problems, man. Yeah. Oh, and some of them are anti-Semitic and some aren't. Steve Bannon's not, right? Steve Bannon's a Zionist. Sean Hannity's a Zionist. But you like Candace Owens, she'll talk about the Jews. Or Lucas Gage, who's like, far right, like professional anti-Semite, professional Jew hater. That's like his job. And he's Roman Catholic, right? So literally, and like Nick Fuentes, yeah, those Jews, the Jews this and the Jews that and the Jews this, and that's why you should join the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. And so the Roman Catholic Church supports what? BLM, mass migration, no fucking borders, take away your guns, tell you to shut up, don't talk. Right. take a vaccine. Everybody's got to take the vaccines. That's the Catholic Church, dude. That's the Roman Church. See, this is what I want to convey is that yes, the Jewish mafia is real. It's the just go look at the Anti-Defamation League. Go look at all the stuff they do. All that's real. They're really doing that. They're really nasty people, okay? Dershowitz is a nasty person. He's a nasty person. And those are all nasty, horrible people. You're right. But they're backed by Rome. They're backed by Rome, and they've been backed by Rome since 140 BC. Since 140 BC, they've been backed by Rome. See? And when you got Nick Fuentes saying, these Jews and the Jews and the Jews and the Zion, and look, here's a good question for the Romans, like Nick Fuentes. Hey, Nick, so we know that the Mossad and everybody was involved in 9/11. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, everybody can see that, right? That's like clear as day. Mossad was involved in 9/11. Everybody knows that. But Nick, I mean, did you notice who's the CIA director on 9/11? What was his name? Is he Jewish? No, he's a Catholic. His name is George Tenet. That's who it is. So let me give you some more information because I've been looking at this for 20 years, okay? And I was like, hey, man, there's something going on with this Jewish mafia shit, right? Long time ago. And so I started getting involved in these internet circles, right? And so there was one big one called judicialinc.biz. They're not around anymore. And so it was judicialinc.biz. And they had all the secret information. The Jews are doing this and the Jews are doing that. And they had a lot of information that was obviously like stuff you couldn't normally get anywhere else, right? And it was true. It was exposing real crimes in the Jewish mafia. And now the guy running it was Catholic. And so he had all this stuff that he's exposing. And then when it comes to 9/11, right? He's like, the hijackers were really Mossad. It was really hijacked by Mossad. Right? And I'm like, what about the Larry Silverstein and all the bombs in the bill? No, don't. That's all bullshit. It's the Mossad, and the Mossad they're the ones that hijacked the plane, and he had all this facts and figures, and I started noticing this, and I started noticing that there were all these Catholics involved in this guy's operation. And then when you think of it, right, when 9/11 happened and they blew up the World Trade Center, who was it that was on the radio and on Fox News telling you that it was the Arabs doing it? It was Catholics. It was Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, and a bunch of other Catholics, Bill O'Reilly. Now, if you said it wasn't the Arabs, those same Catholics would say, well, you're just an anti-Semite. You just hate the Jews. Now, there were Jewish mafia involved in 9/11, but there were no hijack. The hijacker thing seems fake, and I did another video about this earlier about it was a military plane. You can go watch my video. People who saw the plane said it was a military plane. But let's forget about all that. What I'm saying is, who's been lying to you the whole time? Sean Hannity. Who's been lying? And a lot of you probably don't even remember Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly, look, I've talked to all these people, okay? I've talked to Sean Hannity. I've talked to Bill O'Reilly. I talked to Mark Levin. I talked to Dennis Prager. I talked to all of them. I talked to Michael Savage. Okay? I've talked to every single one of those people. Let me just tell you something. America is run by Catholics and Jews, the Jewish mafia. But you have to understand is the Jewish mafia is the perfect organization for the Catholic Church to carry out its agenda. The Anti-Defamation League carries out the agenda of Rome. Now, who's in charge? I don't know. I'm just saying they couldn't do it without Rome. They couldn't do it without Catholics. Look at Lucas Gage as an example. Professional anti-Semite. The guy does he even have a job other than complaining about Jews all day, every day on Twitter. By the way, I'm not even on Twitter anymore. I'm off Twitter again. I can't even log on to Twitter. I can't even log on to Twitter because I used the N-word to describe Kanye West's new video. Look, let me give an example. Kanye West comes out with this video, right? And it's about Adolf Hitler or something. And you got all these people like, oh, Hitler would love this. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't love this. It's stupid. It's N bullshit is what I said. And so now I can't log on to Twitter because I said that. But look, so here's what's happening. You've got Lucas Gage. You've got all these people that are calling themselves Christians, and it's really it's Romanism. It's the Roman Catholic Church. Look, it's literally the Roman Catholic Church. Look at who these people are. Okay, what are you going to get with the Roman Catholic Church? I'm listening to these debates all day with Buck Sexton. Buck Sexton's a Jesuit. He went to a Jesuit school. Okay, he's Catholic. Sean Hannity, Catholic. Buck Sexton, Catholic. You've got all these people, and they're like, we just need a conservative pope. Dude, do you not see? This is what I'm talking about. It's not that the individual Catholic people are bad. Is my volume too high? No, it's fine. It's not that individual. It's not that I hate Catholics. No. Thank you. It's that this agenda, right? The agenda of Rome, where the Vatican is, the agenda of the Vatican is all the shit that I don't like. It's all the shit okay. Look, I live in California, right? And you go on to the you're arguing with people about politics, and they're like, those Californians, they're so stupid. We got to keep them out of our states. Okay. You ever heard of DC, you effing moron? The District of Columbia? That's the problem. The problem is the District of Columbia. See, it's not the people in California. Well, yeah, I mean, some of them are a problem. And so, but it's like the same crap you have in California, you have in Chicago. You have in, you've got in Maryland, you've got in Virginia, you've got in Rhode Island, you've got it in New York. Like, what are you talking about? California. Like, the problem is Rome. The problem is Rome. See, the agenda is Roman. It's a Roman agenda. It's not even a Christian agenda. It's masked. It's masked in Christianity because that gives it credibility. It's just a Roman agenda. And it's just this weird cult that comes out of Rome and it's like you have all these nice people, and they're good people, and they're well-intentioned people, and they all serve some evil satanic sodomite organization in Rome that promotes just a culture of death and destruction. Like if you look at their faces, they all have that creepy, freaking weird sodomite, weird look on their face. What man wants to go live with a bunch of other men? What middle-aged man wants to live with other men? That is so creepy. Okay? Like, if you're a middle-aged man and you're single, you want to live by yourself, or you want to live with a woman. There's no I want to live with men. That's weird. Nobody wants to do that. There's a natural repulsion to that. And so what I'm saying is that natural repulsion, if you don't have that, it's because there's something wrong with you. Like, you've lost that natural repulsion, and you're in some weird cult, man. You're in a weird freaking cult. I just put it that way. You're in a weird cult, and it's called Rome. It's called the Vatican. And so their agenda, so that's why if you look at what their agenda is, it's all about stuff that's unnatural, like mass migration and race mixing, weird, like bringing in people from all over the world and just like bring them in, like they're allied with Muslims. Look, Nick Fuentes is allied with Muslims. Mr. Nick Fuentes is allied with a bunch of Muslims. Right now, I can't access Twitter, but Lucas Gage and Stu Peters are raising money for a Muslim, because he hates the Jews. you see how they do this? See, you find out that there's this Jewish mafia, and you're like, oh my God, there's a Jewish mafia. Hey, we should organize against this Jewish mafia, right? And then the Catholics are like, yeah. And guess what, guys? Let's join the Roman Church. And a lot of people do it because they're stupid. And what do? They join the Roman Church. And then what does the Roman Church promote? BLM, LGBT, mass migration. And they're like, oh, well, at least I'm going to heaven. And then it's lights out, man. They just go right back to sleep. They just go right back to sleep. Good night. Good night. This is a dead end. Dead end. Okay, so on this video, I said on my description, I said that we need a state religion. Now I'm halfway joking and halfway really believe that. I mean, it's such a weird idea to come up with a state religion in modern times. But Robespierre tried to do that. He tried to create a religion for France that was going to replace the Catholic Church. And it was called the Cult of the Supreme Being because he was a deist and was out of that whole Freemason deist movement. So I was thinking in America, because it was founded by Freemasons, the big mistake that they made was not implementing what was backed by Freemasons that had been duped by Jesuits. So this is my opinion, is that this whole thing in America was Freemasons who were genuine, sincere Freemasons who got duped by the Jesuits into overthrowing the King of England and then having this free, open society and freedom of religion that the Jesuits came in and took over and then progressively just implemented their agenda. I can smell my steak cooking, so I got to go get it because I'm going to eat my lunch. But anyway, Robespierre had this idea. It was called the Cult of the Supreme Being. But whether it's that or something else, we need a state religion that bans anything Roman. You cannot have a foreign rule in any nation. Like they're anti-us. They're anti-America. They're pro-migrant. They're pro-LGBT BLM. They've been burning down our cities. It's the Catholic Church. I'm going to go get my food out of the oven, but thanks for watching.